Westchester Talk Radio is broadcasting live.
Hello, everyone. This is Westchester Talk Radio. We are broadcasting live today from Pace University's Westchester campus here in Pleasantville on a beautiful day. We are here for the 2017 Westchester Smart App Bowl. And as always, we're produced by Shar Creative and made possible by Entergy, Indian Point Energy Center, Facelifts Painting, Reverso Associates, Westchester County Office of Economic Development, Wartburg, Durante Rentals, and Northeast Environmental. Be sure to download the Westchester Talk Radio app at iTunes, Westchester Talk. And as always, you can like us on Facebook if you prefer, Westchester Talk Radio. Hello, everyone. I'm Jim Clevefield, your host today, along with Matt Kay, my engineer. And our guest joining us right now is Joe Archino. He is an Iona graduate student who has developed a website he's going to talk about honoring veterans. Tell us all about that.
Well, first off, I want to thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to come and speak to you. But I created This Is Why We Stand in 2016. As most of the country saw, there was a certain athlete who took a stand where he refused to honor the American flag and stand. And, you know, it broke my heart. It really did, because I've always known from a young age that the American flag means so much, and it's an eternal memory to the sacrifices of so many of our service members, past and present. And that's when I started this whole website. And I kind of started by, just doing YouTube videos of Medal of Honor stories of incredible military honoring our heroes, and it kind of turned into a website then, and now I just do everything every week, picking certain stories, going to historical monuments. I think you look around this country and the reminders of why we stand are everywhere. You don't need to go very far to see a tribute to our service members, or just a constant remembrance of why that flag means so very much.
So specifically, what can people find on their website when they first log into it? What will they be able to see?
Well, I think as soon as you visit the website, you kind of see my mission, and that's up front, and that kind of explains why I made the website. And I think, to me, the reason I made it is I want it to be a eternal memorial to the guardians of America. And I think our founding fathers, from the inception of our country, always understood that we need to always show our constant appreciation for those who have been willing to serve. George Washington, we all understand, is the father of our country. He didn't live his life for fame. He didn't live his life for monetary value. He lived his life to serve our country. And ever since that happened, many other people have followed him in that path. And I think it's so important that we always take the time to thank those people properly. And that's what you will find on my website more than anything. You'll find individual accounts. You'll find big accounts of battles or historical stories of big significance almost everywhere on the website.
You and I were talking just a short time ago before we went on the air. And yes, we honor the veterans on Veterans Day. We look at Memorial Day. We observe that every year, twice a year. But really, the thrust of what you do is to honor veterans all year round, not just those 2 days a year, but all year round.
It's something that's every moment of every day. We are because they were. And I think every single day, just spending a little bit of time in reflection and just remembering that we're here for a reason. The reason we're here is because of all the people who have been willing to stand up and fight for us. And it's something we have to pay a price for the way that we live. It's an unfortunate circumstance of our world, but to live the way that we do, we have always had to pay a price for that. And the people who have always been willing to stand up for that are our veterans, past and present. And I think every day, whether it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes, just by reading a story, by visiting a grave, by visiting a memorial, going and talking to someone who served, there's so many different ways we can show our appreciation. It doesn't have to be big. It could be something small. And we all have the opportunity and the power to do these things.
Since you started this website, have you gotten any feedback from veterans or veterans groups? Have you heard from anybody specifically?
I'm still in the process kind of branding it a little bit, and thanks to you guys right now, this is another opportunity that will certainly help. But I have interacted with some veterans who've shown the appreciation, and I think that's one of the things that makes you feel so good is, again, these individuals, they're not doing it for a paycheck. their patriotism is what their lifeline is. It's in their blood, and I think it makes them feel so good to know that people appreciate that. And when we show our appreciation, it makes it all worthwhile. And I think that's why it's so important to me when I talk to veterans or people who have served, and they see the stories and they see that people really do understand the meaning of the flag. It makes them feel so good about things.
It makes you appreciate even more the sacrifices that they've made for the betterment of our country.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. And I think it's something that, look, the world isn't getting any safer, and it's just another thing that continually makes you appreciate the people who came before us, because they blazed a path for us, and they've always kind of left behind that semblance of courage and the stories of strength. And I always say we need to look to our past for strength in our future. And when you look at our past, we certainly have a lot of strength to look to.
Now, these photos that we see individually, they tell a different story every time you look at one of those photos?
They do. There's no doubt about it. One of my favorite things to do is every week I pick a different Medal of Honor recipient, and I'll do a story about them. I'll take a picture and I'll kind of put that as the headline, and then underneath that I'll condense their Medal of Honor transcript, and I always put a link to that transcript as well in case you want to read that whole thing. But there's no more humbling experience in life than reading the story of someone who won the Medal of Honor. If you read some of these stories of these people who survived odds that sometimes aren't even thinkable, you will just be just almost dumbfounded. I read one about a Medal of Honor recipient in the Pacific Theater during World War II named Dirk Vlug. He single-handedly destroyed 6 Japanese tanks by himself. These 6 tanks were coming, and they were going to pretty much overrun the American position. He had his pistol, he had a bazooka, he had some rounds with him, and hand grenades. And he was able to destroy those tanks by himself. Now, individual accounts like that, I think collectively, are just the example. This is why we stand. This is why the American flag means so much, because of the individuals like that. And I think that's why I work so hard every single day, every single week, putting these stories together, because people do appreciate them, and people need to know and be reminded.
One of the pictures I looked at before we went on the air here, you showed me one that featured Pat Tillman. Tell us about that particular story. Now, for those who remember, Pat Tillman, a former NFL star with the Arizona Cardinals, the Phoenix Cardinals back then, he went and served after 9/11, was tragically killed by friendly fire. But tell us about that specific picture that you showed me when people go onto that website. Very interesting story.
Very interesting story, and I think last weekend was the 13th anniversary of when he was killed in an operation during Afghanistan. And look, I mean, the circumstances behind his death are still very controversial. I don't think we still really fully understand what happened, but I think it's important that we look at the life of Pat Tillman. And you heard me mention before people who trade a paycheck for their patriotism. Well, nobody did that more than Pat Tillman. It was an NFL player. He basically played out his final season. He was offered a $3.6 million contract offer from the Cardinals, but he left that on the table to join the United States Army, became a Ranger. People don't always remember his brother Kevin, his younger brother, he was in the farm system for the Cleveland Indians. He left that to go and join with his brother. They both served in the Army Rangers together. And I mean, Pat Tillman was a special man. He really was. He talked about before he joined where he said, I basically haven't done a damn thing. His grandfather was at Pearl Harbor. He's had family members who had served. He said, I basically haven't done a damn thing, and I'm so appreciative of that flag because I know that the reason it means so much is all the people that have served. And he did serve. Sadly, he's not here with us today, but he left a story that it will be timeless. We will always think of Pat Tillman and what he did. He traded a paycheck for patriotism. Not something a lot of people would do, but Pat Tillman wasn't like most people.
Yeah, he certainly has left a lasting legacy that we'll remember for maybe generations to come, I'm sure. Not just years to come, but generations as well.
There's no doubt. And I think one of the powerful things about it is all of these people. That's one of the reasons why I think the fundamental bedrock of my website is we can never forget a name. We can never forget a story. By telling these stories, by remembering these names, we properly honor these people. And the flag, the reason why to me it means so much is because their names, their memories, their stories, they live on forever in the form of that flag. When that flag is up there in the air and it's always just there as a testament to those people, and as long as that flag is always honored and respected, we will always honor and respect those people who fought for that flag.
Well, if anybody who is listening to this wants more information about the website, where can they go?
they could go to thisiswhywestand.net. You could follow me on Twitter at Joe Archino. You could friend me on Facebook, Jersey, Joe Archino. It's everywhere and everywhere. And again, I'm always looking for people to contribute. And I think that's one of the amazing things about the website is we all have a connection to our military, to our country in some way. And I'm always so curious to hear people's stories, to have people contribute. So if anyone wants to contribute, wants to tell their story, share their story in any way, again, they can visit thisiswhywestand.net.
Thisiswhywestand.net. Joe, thanks so much for joining us. Wonderful what you're doing, and keep up the good work.
Thank you so much. Again, thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak to you. It really was an honor.
All right, once again, we've been speaking with Joe Archino. Again, he's an Iona grad student. Again, he's working on this website called whywestand.net. Thank you, Joe. Thank you very much. Again, this is Westchester Talk Radio. We're broadcasting live here at Pace University's Westchester campus for the 2017 Smart App Bowl that's going on today. Lots more ahead. We'll be back with more right after this word of interest.
Shark Creative, get so on hold.
Thank you, listener. Yes, Shark Creative is the company you think of for on-hold messages. If you want to hear how it helps, you can call Mercedes-Benz of New Rochelle, Durante Rentals, Michael Labriola Inc., Oak Ridge Staffing, Emma's Ale House, Northeast Environmental, or just go to sharkcreative.com and listen there. Meanwhile, we've expanded our services as your all-audio resource. On-hold messages, of course, production and placement of radio campaigns on the Peak and others too. And now we also have our very own internet radio station, Westchester Talk Radio. Look for us on Facebook at Westchester Talk. Have us come out to your next event, help you capture audio from your sponsors, associates, friends. Bite into that first impression with Shark Creative. Everything audio. It just sounds better.
Shark